Welcome to Doctor Strange versus Risky Business. This is game one of Solo Champions League 703. I'm using Octagon today. I have a video that just quickly shows how you get this set up, but we're all set up. Invocation deck is over here. This is our Nemesis set, and this is our actual main deck. Got my first hand because it actually deals you out your first hand when you set up. So I remember that. I guess for future videos, we'll make sure we kind of do that on camera. So I've got Nick Fury, who I definitely want to keep, who's going to make the strategy of flipping Osborn while I'm in Alter Ego work. Protective Ward would be decent to keep, but not something I strictly need to keep. So I'm just actually going to get rid of all these. Lockjaw going in the discard pile is fine. All these, nice thing about Octagon is you can just hit delete and they all go to the discard pile over here. And then draw our cards, Control D. So we've got Nick Fury, we've got Wong, we've got Master of Mystic Arts. We've got a lot of stuff we want to do here. And let us do a quick shuffle on our Invocation deck and flip over the top one. And we might even get our tough status cards out instantly, which means we're definitely not going to use the Master of Mystic Arts this turn. We won't be able to afford doing all of that stuff. So first up is I want to bring out Nick Fury. It's going to cost 4, which means I'm going to use everything but Wong. And I'm going to give him 3 health. And then grab my 3 cards. Oh my god. This is an embarrassment of riches. What do you do? Cosmo is actually, strictly speaking, I think better than Wong because you get to activate him. He takes no consequential damage, and you get to cycle the Invocation deck if you need to, so it's kind of just incredible. So anyway, we'll use Nick Fury to attack for 2, and that will cause this to flip, and we get the 3 indirect damage if I'm in hero form, which I'm not, and then this gets its 2 State of Madness counters. And then I guess I have to decide if I want to keep this toughness. I'll probably actually want to use it next turn. Doctor Strange can block this time, and then the following turn I can have toughness on everybody. So I think with that in mind, I might want the eye here. So that'll cost me 2. And then I can bring out Cosmo for 1, 2. It's very sad to discard Wong, but such is life. And flip Strange. And then I'm actually just going to use Strange for thwarting this time. And I'm not going to activate Cosmo. Because I kind of want to make sure that if I'm ever in a situation where I don't want to cycle my Invocation deck, I can still activate them and keep them. So I'm going to play it safe, not activate them. And that is the end of my first turn. My hand size is still 5, so we do F12, and that advances to the villain phase. And that was my first turn. I usually just put one of these all-purpose counters on as a counter there, and then I also, for villain turns, I do an all-purpose counter on the scheme. So Gabi is going to attack. Double-click on Gabi to get a card, and flip. I'm going to use Nick Fury to block. And sweet. That just defeats Nick Fury. And then we get our encounter card. They don't have separate places where the cards come in like they do on the main TTS mod that most people use for streaming. And here we unfortunately have Gobby's going to flip back again already. So place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise, or if you cannot remove 2 madness counters from State of Madness, right? So those 2 go, which there are now no madness counters, so we flip Goblin back and that too. All right, I just dropped my recording, so we're back. We just flipped Gobby, and with all in a day's work, that's the end of the first villain turn. So F12 takes us back to the hero phase. What do we have? We have no card draw. Right, we could, I guess, just waste a turn here. So instead of attacking, he's just going to put 1 counter on, which just increases the damage needed by 1, which is not a big deal. Right, slows us down, but who cares? Right, we can use rings to get some toughness on us, and perhaps cycle through whatever the next thing is as well. So we can use the eye and power in all of us to get out the helicopter or helicarrier, and then am I just going to use this to get rid of 3 threat? That seems so dumb. Anyway, am I playing this card? No, I'm not. So I can't actually use helicarrier on that, which is interesting. So I guess I'll use my Honorary Avenger to use the 7 rings. So that adds a toughness to Doctor Strange and Cosmo. Unfortunately, the way they set this up, Control T both is a shortcut for adding tough and for going to chat, so it actually doesn't work properly. Most of the other shortcuts work well, but this one doesn't. 7 rings goes. Next card is, oh, and I got a tap. Is images. I think I don't care about images, so what I will do is cycle images. With Cosmo, right? So I'm going to name event on my invocation deck, put it in the discard. And Cosmo is going to do 1 damage, or maybe 1 thwart. Maybe 1 damage. I'm going to do 1 damage so that if I do get an ally that does 2 damage, I can actually flip him without any further challenges. Plus, I'm going to plan to waste Astral Projection to get rid of this 1 piddly threat. Can't believe I'm doing this. So, oh, but this is good. It actually lets me see the top card of the encounter deck. So I'm going to do that. I think I might have forgotten to put a threat on there last turn, but there we are. So top card of the encounter deck you can peek, and it is the villain schemes. Okay, so that's interesting. Does that change anything? Right, so I could choose to flip, and then he'll scheme for 2, and that will get burnt, and then there'll be some other encounter card. Or I can attack, get 1 extra counter on Criminal Enterprise, and then that'll save me a few damage when I flip. Hopefully. And the attack never happens, so I can use Cosmo to clear it. Okay, well, let's see what my new Invocation deck card is. Okay. Yeah, so I think the net threat savings is likely to be higher if I actually flip. Plus I'll get an extra card. So let's do that. And then we'll end our turn. I'm going to keep Winds of Watum. Okay, great hand. Does not matter that I have if I have Protective Ward or not because I'm in Alter Ego. And Norman Osborn, turn 2. So 1 threat, advance to turn 2. He goes to scheme and gets advance. So he adds 2 more threat here. And then in counter phase, so discard an upgrade. There goes the Helicarrier. And now it's turn 3 for me. So I think I do want to use winds. Nothing here requires me to be on this side, but I do. Interesting. So I guess I could use Cosmo. Maybe I will just cycle winds and then see what's next. Right? Because I just want to get to rings, really. And not sacrifice my toughness counters and not waste any of these awesome minions or allies. Okay, so Cosmo is going to name the top card of the encounter deck. I'm going to say it's a treachery, which it is, so he does not take damage, and that means this flips, and this flips, and, oh, sorry, so now that goes to the discard pile. The new thing is Vapors, which I'm actually just going to cycle with Doctor Strange's ability, and that leaves Rings for when I flip. Nope, I don't flip yet still. Oh, yes, I do. I forgot I flipped them. Okay. So what do I actually have for resources? I have 7 resources. Bands are going to use 2, so I have 5. So I could use Spidey to come in and deal with that threat. Use Bands to stun Gobby, and then assess the situation. So 3 health on Spider-Man. Right, he's going to thwart, and I'll use 1, 2, 3. I'll use Eye of Agamotto and target acquired and tap Doctor Strange to use the bands, and that will be 7 damage and stunned. I'm going to reshuffle this. A little tedious, but okay, shuffle the special deck, and our top one is Vapors again, which we'll just leave as it is. Target acquired. I just paid, then I will assess the situation, so I'm going to draw up to 6 this time. I have no protective ward. I got my extra card for my assess the situation. Probably do Sorcerer Supreme this turn, even though it's getting pretty late in the game. And 1 threat, advance to the 3rd turn. Gobby goes to activate, but he's stunned, so no activation. He gets his encounter card, which is the Hired Gun. Hired Gun comes in with 3 health, and then choose to either give the villain 1 face-down card or place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. Criminal Enterprise is on the other side, so we give him 1 additional boost card. When I have stashed boost cards, I just stick them here, so I remember that's what they are. And then I put stashed encounter cards over here. And it is Doctor Strange turn number 4. And we are very slowly powering through this game. Very slowly. Okay, so Spidey and Cosmo can take out the Hired Gun. So maybe that's the first thing to do, which is we're going to use Cosmo to name an event, which is Vapors, and ditch that. So that's 1 damage. And we're at rings again, which we'll definitely use. Spidey will finish that off. I still have toughness, so this is actually a great time to flip Goblin. So that's going to be 2, so that's going to leave me with 5 left. And Sorcerer Supreme makes it 3. And Endurance. Right, I've been trying to not use Spiritual Meditation just because. If I have pretty good, I'm pretty happy about my play overall that I have. But I think I'd like to see what other options I might have actually. So let's ditch Spiritual Meditation. Because one thing I could get actually is whatever the 1 cost card is that doesn't actually cycle this, which would be awesome if I got that. So let's use Spiritual Meditation to get 2 cards. And then we'll ditch Magical Enhancements. Let's try again with Spiritual Meditation. Okay, well, we're getting a lot of resources here. I think we'll get rid of Downtime. So let us now do a recheck on what we got for resources here. We've got 2 doubles. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with the Eye of Agamotto, which means I could really push toward the end, right? I could Magic Blast, not bother with Quinn Carrier, not bother with Sorcerer Supreme. So Magic Blast would be 4. Bands is 2, so that's 6. So I still have 3. I don't have use of Power in All of Us otherwise. So maybe that actually, yeah. Okay, so let's look at that. So if I do Quinn Carrier, for Power in All of Us and the Eye. Use this for the band, and then Quicksilver and that for Magic Blast. That's amazing. Okay, so Quicksilver is Power in All of Us and the Eye. We'll use Strength and tap Doctor Strange to use the bands. So 7 damage, stunned, and oh, actually we got to advance. What is it? Defeat villain, and he's at 18. And when he flips, we get 4 indirect damage. I'm going to assign all the damage to Doctor Strange, which you can do because he still has 10 health. And then the toughness eats all that damage. So that also worked really well. And then finally, I'm going to Magic Blast for Quicksilver and these two. And we discard the top card. Hopefully we don't double up on the stun here. And we got 2 more damage. So 5 damage and then 2 more. So we're down to 11. All right, end of turn. We went through our entire deck, so we have another one here. And then one more draw from our new pile. There's our cloak. Probably won't get much use out of it. We do not have Protective Ward. So Goblin turn 4, get a threat. Stunned, so that does not resolve. This boost card does not happen yet. And we're going to get 2 encounter cards. So the first one is Hydra Soldier. And the second one is, oh, everybody's going to attack. Okay. And I forgot to discard this. Shuffle that in. So everyone's going to attack. Cosmo is going to block Green Goblin, who's going to hit me with 2 boost cards here. Place 1 remove, so we remove 1 State of Madness counter and that, and all that damage slides off of Cosmo's back, and he has no toughness anymore. And then the Hydra Soldier also attacks me, and I'll just take 2 damage. And that's the end of the villain phase. Hero phase number 5. Alright, and I completely forgot to check what this is. Oh, we can replenish our toughs. Beautiful. Which means we might want to cloak. I guess at this point, spiritual meditation makes sense to cycle through before we do anything else. Lockjaw's not in the discard pile right now. Definitely going to want to get this thwart down a little bit on this turn. Small chance I'm just going to want to stall on the Hydra Soldier so I don't even have to deal with the extra encounter card. Depends what else happens in this turn. So the very first thing I'm going to do is spiritual meditation for 2. I will not be using this, so we can get rid of that. I have 7 resources, so I can bring out Ironheart. can bring out Ironheart for 2, Cloak for 2, leaves me with 3, so I can 7 rings and something else with Cloak, right? But probably really want to see what Ironheart gives us before anything else. So I'll use those 2. And I got an energy out of that, which I will use. Can't quite finish it. But I might try to save my Magic Blast for next turn if I kind of go that route. So let's use, yeah, we're not going to finish it this turn, so we want to save, which means I probably won't do any damage to the big guy here. I may even so I'll do 2 damage here. I'll do, because this only has 1 State of Madness counter, there is a chance of flipping and advancing and things going poorly because he's not going to be stunned. So now we're going to use 7 rings, and that will exhaust Dr. Strange. Oh, but then I could actually, instead of saving Magic Blast, no, I'm going to save Magic Blast. Get rid of target acquired. For the 7 rings, we'll give Dr. Strange tough, we'll give Spidey tough, and we'll give Ironheart tough. Right? That's going to let me put somebody in front of the Hydra soldier and not have to worry about dealing with it or taking any real damage. And then before we put Cloak out, we see our new card is Images, Confuse the Villain, Don't Care. So then we bring out Cloak for 2. I'm not going to use this. Let's use Dr. Strange to thwart. Or do I just want to flip and heal? I won't get to use my, if I draw a Protective Ward, I won't get to use it though. So I think I'd probably rather have Protective Ward, the chance at Protective Ward. So a lot of competing things. So let's go through these. If I stay in hero form, I'm going to assess the situation, I'm going to keep Magic Blast in my hand, and that will get me up to 5 cards. So I'll have, I don't think I have any Protective Wards in here yet, right? So I've got 5 in 28 chance of getting a protective ward, which is not especially high. If he flips over to State of Madness, or if he flips over because State of Madness goes down to 0, I might not entirely care because the indirect damage can get absorbed by one of these anyway. It's going to be a waste of time, but it's not more damage. If I flip, like if I confuse him and then flip, that cycles through here and gets me to whatever my last card is. The draw one. Which Cosmo can get me their next turn anyway. Do I already have a... Right. Maybe another Magic Blast from those draws. Anyway, sorry. And then, so he'll try to scheme. The confuse will stop that. But I could draw a scheme. But either way, it's super likely that drawing advance is going to cause him to flip anyway. So if I do flip, I get one extra card and I can heal. So I guess I'm flipping. Oh, but I don't actually get one extra card because assess the situation. So it gives me 2 health. I can flip for 2 health. What's the danger? I'm not going to actually use Doctor Strange's ability. Oh, but I could forego that 0, cycle through, and actually maybe get to bands again. That may be worth it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use my hero power to do images, which takes 1 threat off of here, confuses the villain. I'm going to flip, and got my wins, but they're going to go to the discard pile, and then we cycle back through. We shuffle, and we flip. Oops. Oh, and that's what's there anyway. And then we are done. That was a very long turn. And we're going to drop to 6 here. And I am going to keep Magic Blast. And I did get Protective Ward. What do you know? All right, turn 5. Grab a threat, advance to the turn counter, confuse, so that doesn't resolve. I guess Hydra Soldier is going to scheme because I didn't defeat him. And then we get our encounter card, which is Hydra Regular, so I just added 1 to there, and our 2 health. And it is Doctor Strange, turn 6. So I only got 1 Magic Blast. Astral Projection, I mean, that's a good way just to get rid of that threat. So I have 6. Kind of want to actually use wins to get 3 cards. Maybe I can cycle into another Magic Blast. And then if not, I can go for the bands. So I think I can deal with most things here, which means I'm not going to use Strange's ability, and I'm not going to heal. So I will flip. I'll use Winds to draw 3. I use spiritual meditation to draw 2. We'll ditch that. Just quickly double check. I'm pretty sure Lockjaw is not in the discard. No. So I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I guess that already shows me. So I have 11 resources. Cloak is going to bring me back up, and let's cycle vapors here. So I'll do 1 damage to the Hydra Soldier with Cosmo, and then I'm going to name an event and cycle that. And there is my bands. So Ironheart loses her toughness to defeat the Hydra Soldier, which gives me an encounter card that we're never going to see. Spider-Man loses his toughness to defeat the Hydra Regular. I will use these 2 to cast bands. Yeah, and then I'm going to Honorary Avenger myself, I'm pretty sure. And then I'll have 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2 for bands, right? Already did bands. I guess I'm going to bring out Mockingbird to get more health. Okay, sorry. So Honorary Avenger does that. Magic Blast is going to be for those 3. And then I guess I will overwrite. Oh. Did I get rid of my Astral Projection? No, I didn't. Here it is. So I need to use that. So Astral Projection to get rid of these threat, get rid of Mystical Studies and that. Choose a scheme, remove 3. Okay, I'm not even going to look at the top card of the encounter deck because it's not going to ever resolve. And we already have all the threat off there anyway. We are not going to overwrite with Mockingbird. We're going to Magic Blast to finish this off. Stun, 2 damage, confuse, all the above. So it won't matter what actually happens, so we'll just finish it off. Alright, 6 turns and clear board and 13 hero health.